I feel like everyone has one thing that just kind of clicks for them, and when the final piece of the puzzle figures out that it's a corner piece and not part of the raccoon's cool little mask, everything comes crashing down on them all at once. Some people have it for math when they're in sophomore geometry. Others just all of a sudden start understanding how to chew with their mouth closed like a normal human being when they're 35 years old. And then there's me and my arch nemesis, exercise. Before I even go any further, I want to make something very clear. You can be healthy and not look like a supermodel. Anyone who tries to make you believe otherwise is worthless. As long as you keep up a mostly healthy lifestyle that keeps you able to do the things that you want to do, don't worry about what anyone else thinks. The thing about my situation is that I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do and was just overall unhappy. And I'm not about to blame anyone else. Nobody approached me from the shadows and was like,
"Hey, whoa, kid, come here. You got any of that diabetes?" "No." "Well, do you want some?"
I kept up a steady diet of chicken nuggets, ramen, pizza, and nachos all the way through high school, and it really made me pack on the pounds as hard as that may be to believe. I was 245 pounds when I graduated high school, and after none of the scholarships I was promised for my grades ended up happening, I skyrocketed up to the 270s within like 3 months. When the pandemic hit, I quit my job as a substitute janitor, which is a situation and story of its own, and got a job with UPS. That was without a doubt the best decision I've ever made. I was loading trucks for anywhere from 8 to 12 hours per day, and decided that I would give dieting another chance because I was constantly lifting heavy packages and running up and down the belt to stay caught up, so I figured if there was any time to make a change, right then and there was it. I went home from work one day, and before my classes started, I threw out all of the junk food I bought the week before. Yeah, that lasted about a week. I kept trying and failing time and time again, but didn't get it right no matter what I tried. After a few weeks of trial and error, I was about to give up when the clique I talked about earlier smacked me over the head with a baseball bat. I was watching the first Captain America movie one day while I did my homework, and it got to the scene where they put him in the muscle microwave. Oh man, I wish it was that easy for me to get in shape. I realized that I'd been going about it all wrong. Changing everything at once was never going to work, at least not for me. I had to look at it all in a different light. After a couple weeks of starting from scratch and looking at every angle, I finally found something that would work for me. Video games. I've always been a huge nerd for gaming, even when I decided to drop them for the most part while I was in high school. One of my favorite games ever is Doom 2016. That soundtrack is still one of my all-time favorites. I realized that the adrenaline rush it gave me was more than enough to push me through workouts, and if I combined it with the level up mentality, I could turn exercise into a game and make it fun. As far as my diet goes, I thought of it as like those food bars from games like Minecraft, where some foods give you more energy than others. All the good foods were worth more points than the bad ones, and I could budget my points every day on that basis, with points categories for things like calories, amount of sugars added, and proteins. Even with this new strategy, I still had my shortcomings, and I sometimes broke down and had a pizza or soda again. But brother, let me tell you something. That's what being human is about. Every day is a new day, so forget the shortcomings of today and be better tomorrow. Now, before I tell you the next part of the story, I need you to understand something. Look at me in my beady little eyes so I know you're paying attention. When you start working out and eating healthy, it takes time for changes to actually start happening. Say it in the mirror every morning, write it down on a piece of paper, tattoo it on yourself, I don't care. Just remember, these things take time. They're not going to happen overnight. After 2 months of not losing any weight, I started to panic because I hadn't grasped the concept that muscle weighs more than fat, and I was still progressing despite what the scale told me at the time. I started cutting down the amount of calories I was allowing myself and working out more. By this point, my semester had ended and I couldn't afford to sign up for more courses, so as soon as I got off work, I'd go straight to the gym and work out for 1 to 2 hours, eat a breakfast that was way too small, and then go to my old high school to run on the track. For those of you who have never experienced an Arizona summer, it's a little warm. One might even say it's a bit toasty. Imagine running on a track that reflects heat in that weather. And that's not even the worst part. I, being the genius that I am, decided to do it in a sauna suit. When combined with only having about 1,200 calories on average, I did start to lose weight and extremely fast at that. The third month I was dieting and exercising, I lost 15 or 20 pounds. I don't remember exactly how much, but it was a lot. I thought that it was great because I'm a great big dummy and didn't realize that that's not something that you should celebrate, especially when you're doing it the way that I was doing it. I was pretty much relying on pre-workout to stay awake outside of my job and workouts, and at this point, I was using up every bit of calories I had and then some. I was always either manic from a boost of caffeine or irritable because I was in a constant state of hunger, which I'm pretty sure was hard on my family when I was around them, but I wouldn't listen when they said I should eat more or work out less because it had become an obsession at that point. Where they saw rapidly sinking cheeks and loose skin, I saw progress. At about 10 months in, I'd lost 80 pounds, so I was down to about 195, but it wasn't enough for me, and I kept pushing harder and harder. It wasn't a game anymore at that point. By the time I realized that this wasn't progress and it was actually harmful, I dropped down to 165 for a total of around 105 to 110 pounds lost in about 12 months. I luckily have a fantastic family, so they helped me get back on track to being in a healthy mindset, and I can with 100% certainty say that I would still be in that obsessive hole now if not for them. Thanks, you guys. You're awesome. Couldn't have done it without you. Overworking yourself can be just as bad or even worse than eating fast food or lounging around all day, and it's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. Let me just tell you something real quick. Your best is good enough. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. In my case, I was the one that told myself I wasn't good enough, and in a lot of ways I still do. If that's the case for you, don't try to fix it alone. Your family or friends want to help you, and they want what's best for you, so ask for it. I'm going to include some numbers for people that can help you if you're struggling with this kind of stuff and you don't have the support system that I had. And they'll stay on the screen, but I'm going to put them in the comments and make a little note so that people who didn't necessarily want to watch the whole video can get to them. Because that's really all I care about. I don't care if you stay the whole time. I just want to get this information to you. Hey guys, I know this video is a little heavy compared to my usual, but I figured it'd be good for anyone that's having a hard time. With graduation for both high school and college just happening pretty recently, it's going to be tough for a little while adjusting to a lot of big changes, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible or even bad. I promise. See you guys next time.